Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday Talks with the Minnesota Association of Realtors. My name is Chris Galler. Today we're going to talk about manufactured housing and some of the rules and laws related to manufactured housing and whether or not Chapter 82 real estate licensees can sell those properties. First thing to know is yes, as a Chapter 82 real estate licensee, you can sell manufactured housing. Some people refer to them as mobile homes, but manufactured housing is the appropriate name for them. There is different statutes and different licenses for people that just sell manufactured housing, but as a real estate licensee, you can sell it. You should understand, though, that there are different rules and regulations for selling manufactured housing than there are in place for regular real estate, and you need to make sure that you understand that process before moving into those types of sales. We've got information on our website, the Minnesota Realtor website, under the desktop reference guide that'll walk you through the important parts of it and give you links to the statute so that you can prepare yourself. One of the other questions we get very frequently is, what about MLS? Can I put a mobile home in MLS? Under state statute, it is legal to put it into MLS, but you will have to contact your local MLS vendor to make sure that they allow it. Some do, some don't, but in Minnesota, the vast majority do. Under licensing, if you have questions about it, although your real estate license, Chapter 82, allows you to do it, you'll want to look under Statute 37B to find out exactly what the criteria is and what are the requirements for selling a property that way. One of the features is the trust account, and it's important that you understand that the trust account is very similar to a regular residential transaction, and the key piece being there can be no interest charged on the earnest money or the funds deposited in the trust account, except in a situation where the parties have made an agreement. So maybe the buyer and seller have made an agreement that will allow that, then it can occur. Also, copies of trust account information must be sent to the Building Codes and Standards Division. This is not the Department of Commerce. Manufactured homes are under a fully different area. So as a broker, you'll want to make sure and understand those provisions. There's also a safety feature disclosure form that you'll need to become familiar with. There are two different ones. One is filled out for in-park transactions, and the seller of the property must fill this safety feature disclosure form out. There's also a second form that must be filled out and provided to the consumer if the property is being sold in a manufactured housing park where they are leasing the land instead of owning the land, and there's an important notice form for that, and it's actually called important notice. Commissions are different in manufactured housing as well. In commission sales for manufactured housing, you must state to the consumer, that's whether it's a buyer or a seller, how you're receiving compensation in both a percentage and dollar amount. That means if you're getting 10% of a $10,000 transaction, you have to tell them, I'm getting 10% of the $10,000, which means $1,000 in compensation. It must be spelled out both ways. It is also illegal to take what is called a net listing, if indeed you're listing properties that are manufactured properties. Commission, what happens if the sales price changes? So I've talked with my buyer about the compensation I'm going to receive. We assumed the property was going to sell for $10,000. It sold for $9,000. You now must re-disclose to the consumer what compensation you are going to receive, even if that compensation is coming from the listing side of the transaction. Your MLS form is not considered pertinent to these transactions. It has to be a formal written disclosure to the buyer of both the percentage and the dollar amount. Another item is code compliance. For any property built after July 1, 1972, the property must comply with building codes. That's important. That means that you cannot sell a property as is if it was built after July 1 of 1972. So a seller of a property built in '88 may say, I want to sell this as is. I don't want to make disclosures about the condition of it because I'm worried about my liability. They don't have the choice. They have to disclose it, and under Chapter 82 you have to disclose, of course, anything that you know because it's a material fact. Wells and septics are another part of manufactured home sales. All of the laws that are in place for regular residential property are also in place for manufactured homes that are sold with real property. It is different if they're in a park, but if it is a piece of property being sold, residential real estate being sold with a manufactured home on it, then they must meet all of the well and septic laws, meaning all of the disclosures, and as you already know, we have those forms on our website. We'd like to thank you for watching today. There's more information on the Minnesota Realtor website, and we also encourage you to tell your office mates and other members that you know in the industry to tune into our other videos that cover a plethora of different issues. Thank you again for joining us for Tuesday Talks.